We got a unique show this week as a blizzard. Well, not really, but we got snow coming down in West Virginia. Mr. Brown's trying to make sure everybody can return their Christmas packages, and Biggie's still recovering from COVID. But we still have sports, so we got plenty to talk about. This is the We Don't Know Sports Podcast. Stay tuned. Welcome back once again to the We Don't Know Sports Podcast. This is Chad the Mark with absolutely nobody, but if you stick around here in a minute, we do have an interview we just managed to pull off with someone who was filming a segment for Fox NFL Sunday. He was just featured in USA Today. He is a super fan for the Cincinnati Bengals, who are riding high off a victory over the Kansas City Chiefs. Tony the Tiger joined us for a little bit. So it's always fun to talk to any fan base. But specifically for me, being a Bengals fan, you know I love it. We had so much fun talking with the Lions fans in the past, and we've done the AFC North roundtable before, just different NFL things out there. And, you know, Cincinnati's in a nice place right now, so we get to get a little insight there. And honestly, just it's on video too, so make sure you check it out on our social media platforms, because He had the full get up on, man. We caught him as he came out of Fox Studios they were shooting at Paul Brown Stadium, and he still had the whole get up going. So awesome job, and I applaud the effort that goes into it, because the man looks like $1 million. But anyway, that's later in the show. But you know, I'm disheartened because I don't have Biggie and Mr. Brown, and you know, I want to give a shout out because of their, you know, phenomenal past 2 seasons, just picking NFL games against the spread. Normally we have a segment on the show where we pull it all together, but if there's a week that we don't have us all together, at least it's week 18 and half the games don't matter and the spreads are going to be all over the place. But I want to take a second to let everyone know that because of our consistency and excellence, we are now going to be official on Pick Watch. So we always put it up to let everybody know where we're at. And I guess our hounding and constant just effort to let them know that we have one of the best pickers in the country. Mr. Brown would be in the top 3, has a chance to be the best overall. Well, we get to back it up next year because we got the blue check mark now, and we get to go on and actually have us ranked with all the other commoners out there. So we'll see how it goes next year. But damn it, why couldn't it have been this year? That would have been even better because, you know, we might have somebody actually be the best guy picking NFL games in the entire country. And we don't even do this for a living full time. But if you guys want to make some money, even in week 18, look at Mr. Brown's picks. If you want to make a little bit less money, look at Biggie's picks. And if you want to just break even, you can look at mine. But either way, happy to bring that up. And I don't even get a chance to talk about Antonio Brown with my boys here. You know, that stuff's been going overblown all over the place. And today, you know, you got the Bruce Arians conversation. He's talking about what actually said. And, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of coaches out there that'll tell the players, like, get the F out of here or whatever it may be. But for Bruce Arians to actually say he said that in a press conference, I love that. That is phenomenal. But the thing that stood out to me over this entire process is you have everybody on social media has become a mental health expert now because there's Antonio Brown making another erratic decision. And then you also have people coming to his defense saying that, you know, there's more to the story. Wait till the truth comes out. AB released some text messages today, which I didn't really find damning or credible either way. It was just seemed like a normal conversation. But, you know, he's accusing Bruce Arians of telling him to play injured, to which he said he wasn't going to. The Bucs have fired back and said, no, this is what's been going on. And yes, we knew he had this. Nothing was a surprise. And then Bruce Arians in the press conference today said he was in the same package we've been using the whole game. And then all of a sudden, because he wasn't getting the ball, he didn't want to go in anymore. So make out of it what you will. But, I mean, all things considered, whose track record are you kind of siding with here? I mean, I guess you can believe Antonio Brown, and I'm sure those are close to him do, but I have no reason to believe anything, and I'm not trying to pass judgment here one way or the other, but I'm going to wait back and just let the pieces fall where they may. Like I say, we should do with everything that comes out like this. But if I had to lean one way or the other, yeah, like I'm not buying a lot of stock in AB's validity to put a story together here because it's ever since Pittsburgh, he's been a nightmare. Like it's just been one thing after another. And man, if you're Bruce Arians and you're trying to like just sweep under the rug and not make a big deal about the fake COVID vaccine card, man, that blew up right in your face very quickly. So I don't know. I'm done talking about it. I'm done seeing about it. But, man, the jokes and the memes are hilarious, and they keep coming through our social media platforms, so I can't turn it off. But either way, AB is released today. He's no longer a Buck. And the fact that the Bucks released him today, he can actually sign with another team and play in the playoffs. Not sign, but he can be claimed on waivers or get signed in free agency if it goes that far. So there was your wonderful AFC news. But, we had, like I said, coming up in the interview, we have a super fan from the Bengals and they had an arrival moment of sorts last week. They beat the Kansas City Chiefs at home, and the Bengals actually haven't played well at home, but they're able to pull it off. The Chiefs have been one of the most dangerous teams here in the NFL once again over the last few weeks and few months, or a couple months. But man, Joey Burrow standing tall the past couple of weeks, and Jamar Chase put on a clinic, probably rookie of the year without question. You got to ask yourself, where is Burrow in the MVP conversation? Probably not as high as Aaron Rodgers, but you know what I'm saying? Like he has done a lot to make that team kind of move ahead of schedule. But in the AFC, you still have multiple teams fighting for a playoff spot. You have the Steelers and the Ravens and the Chargers and the Raiders. And, I think they're all still, mathematically alive. They need a lot of stuff to happen. The Colts, could lose to the Jaguars and screw a lot of stuff up too. Not that that's probably going to happen, but I think the Colts haven't won in Jacksonville since 2015. So you never know. It's crazy. It's just like an extension of the playoffs, so to speak. Week 18 is the NFC. It's a little more cut and dry. It's really coming down just to the New Orleans Saints and the San Francisco 49ers. And Jimmy G's been a little banged up. He may play, he may not play. We don't know what's going to happen, but yeah, man, that's where you're at in the playoff picture. So good times there. I didn't get to talk to my boys about Kyrie Irving coming back, and then Lance Stevenson coming out of the seats and scoring 100 points or whatever. Like it's been an interesting week. But all that being said, we're going to make sure we get our NFL picks up for everybody. We know you hang on our every word when it comes to that stuff. The spreads are all over the place. There's a lot of teams not playing. We'll make sure we have that up on Friday since there's no game tonight since it's Thursday. Additionally, we will also be back next week. Hopefully we won't be having a snowstorm. And if you don't know, the We Don't Know Sports Studios, as nice as they look when you see us on video, it's a little treacherous to get to. It's West Virginia, and we got to, have 4 low and all that good stuff going to just make it out there. And, it was just one of those things that was a little rough to pull off today. So we value our safety. And Biggie was still battling back from COVID, but he is doing better and is upright, so we're glad to see him doing well. But that's all you get. It's just 8 minutes of Chad the Mark talking, but you guys don't want to hear that, so we're going to transition over and go ahead and do our No Filter segment, Cincinnati Bengals edition. We'll make sure we put it up in Football's Life and all the We Don't Know Sports platforms. But I hope you guys enjoy this interview with Anthony, but don't call him Anthony. Let's just call him Tony the Tiger. And make sure you check out the video because he's in full get up and he is ready to rock and roll. And he's got some strong words to say about the Bengals in the postseason. So drink it in, man. Who Dey Nation's on next. For one of our No Filter segments. And, we always like to bring fans on from across the country. We've had some great fun with, we've done an AFC North, chat before. We had a bunch of people on. Everybody loved the Lions episode from a few weeks back. But, as Chad the Mark personally being a Bengals fan, it wasn't hard to find somebody to talk to because the Bengals are having a great year. They're playoff bound. But something happened this week. We had all this news stuff that came out, these articles from USA Today and things like that. about a gentleman named Anthony Brooks, but I think we're just going to call him Tony the Tiger, Tony the Tiger. And you can see him on the screen if you're watching the video. If you're doing the podcast, you can check out the video later on social media. But we got maybe the number one super fan out of Cincinnati and Who Dey Nation. Tony, welcome to the show. How you doing, brother?
Hey, man, thank you. Appreciate you having me on.
But not as I appreciate you being in full regalia here. You got the paint on. And I know it's not makeup, right? It's face paint, right? There's a difference.
That's right. We don't call it makeup. It's called face paint.
All right. So we got to be clear on that stuff. And we got the hair going and all that. So were you just wearing that around the house today, or did something come up? I mean, maybe you're just like that every day. Maybe Anthony's become the alter personality here.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe I need to try that perspective of it. No, actually, you caught me at a good time. I was actually doing some other interviews. Fox NFL Sunday reached out to me earlier this week, and I was actually downtown at Paul Brown Stadium doing some promo shots for them. So that's how I got the Tony going on today.
All right, man. So is that you're gonna be on Fox NFL Sunday this week then?
Yeah, they're doing a show. The Bengals are the highlights this week. They're the talk of the town, and it's about time, right? We've been kind of silent, and the Bengals are actually starting to get some respect around the league. So everyone's jumping on the bandwagon, so to speak. But yeah, they're doing a bunch of fan promo shots down there. There's a few of us that did the show today.
So, I mean, just let me just go on recency here. Huge game last week. I mean, does last week that feel like the culmination of finally saying, okay, we're back in business. We belong in the conversation, or are you still hesitant? You just want to wait and see how things shape. I mean, we're in the playoffs either way, so you got to feel good. But what did last week's win mean to you?
Last week's win was a big game. It was basically a playoff game for us. I think going up against Kansas City, who we all know is a great team with Mahomes and everyone else they have, Kelsey, and they're just a great team. So for us to go out there to play like we did, stick with them, and actually come out with a win, it says a lot for us. And I think a lot of people open their eyes and realize that the Bengals are serious.
All right, man. So let me just kind of swing back into history here a little bit. So how long have you been a Bengals fan?
So I've been going to games for over 25 years. Been doing the season ticket holder for the last 11. And actually the Tony, the Tiger, came about 10 years ago. So I've been doing that for quite a few years. So it's been a lot of fun, good times, a lot of people I've met, networking, and Who Dey Nation has accepted me as someone to represent them, which I am very humbled by. It's a blessing that people look at me and I'm able to represent what the Bengals are and what Who Dey Nation can and is.
Yeah, and low key, man, the face paint, it's on point. It is not just some slop job either. That stuff is legit, detailed. How long does it take for you to get ready on game day?
So that's the number one question I always get asked. So
I'm sure
I'm used to that. So yeah, actually when I started doing the face paint, it took me a little bit, and it actually started more as a tribal look, not more detailed like it is now, but. Basically, when I start, about 30 minutes, I could do the face and get it all ready to go. And then as I get dressed and the whole get up and everything, I'm out the door in 45 minutes or so.
Okay. Maybe you don't get this question as often. How long does it take for it to come off?
Matter of seconds. I just, I jump in the shower and put some soap on it and it's off.
All right. Good deal. All right. So we're not using any industrial paints or anything. That's good. Probably better for your skin anyway.
Yeah.
So what was the catalyst that you just one day decided all right, I'm going to take it up a notch. I'm going to go from just maybe wearing a jersey or a ball hat to actually going all out, Tony the Tiger.
So actually the article that came out, that was one of the things it covered, but basically my daughter, we were just going downtown to the game, right? Just a normal Sunday, sporting the jersey and the hat and being the typical fan. And, I have 3 daughters. So I'm used to kind of bowing down to what the kids want, tea time and painting the fingernails and all that kind of stuff as they were growing up. And my oldest at the time said, "Hey, let's throw some face paint on." I'm like, okay. So she went ahead and did it and threw it on my face and went downtown and, people liked it and got a little excited about it and just continued it from there.
Okay, so is everybody in the family, is everybody in the household Bengals fan, or do we have a house divided at all?
So my wife and I definitely are hardcore Bengal fans. The daughter, the oldest one, she's a hardcore Bengals fan. My middle one and young one, they know about the Bengals. They're not really sports people, but I think they support what I do and then the Bengals. So I'm pretty comfortable with that.
Okay, so hey, they're not Browns or Steelers fans, so we chalk that up as a win. That means you're a very good parent. That's all I can see.
That's right. I raised them right.
All right. So how do you go to every game? You mentioned season ticket holder. Do you ever miss a game, or are you pretty locked in at this point?
So it's funny that you say that. This is actually the first year I committed with a group of friends of ours to go to every game. Now the years past, I've went to pretty much every home game. And then we would choose two or three away games to try to go to, but never all of them.
Okay, so you're hitting the away games too, then.
Yep.
Oh,
So
wow.
2021, I've went to every game this year. We'll end the season this Sunday to the city up north, and we have completed the whole season and seen every one of them. So it's been a great privilege and been blessed to have been able to do it.
No, I mean that's amazing. Like just to be able to do all that. So let me just ask you, from your travels this year, outside of we love Cincy, we love Paul Brown, but what was the best stadium you got a chance to go to, or was there any like first time trips that you got to make this year where you were like, wow, this is a nice facility?
So Vegas, of course, being the first time they allowed fans in for this year due to the pandemic, that was a great stadium, high tech. One thing that I appreciate being a bigger guy is the bigger rows and the seats, and it was comfortable entertainment atmosphere. But of course, it's Vegas, right? So you would expect that. But yeah, that was a very good stadium to go to. But from all time, from traveling from all my years, the one game that I always talk about that sticks out to me is the Buffalo game, which I do believe was back 2019, maybe 2018. That was probably my best experience. That team took us in. The fans were awesome, and I think a lot of that had to do with of course when Andy Dalton won that one game, got them into the playoffs. So they had a little love for us Cincinnatians. So, but the environment there was by far the best.
Yeah, I mean we've interacted with some Bills fans before. We have a friend of the show. He goes by Bill's dad, another super fan. He puts out these little videos each week that are hilarious. But anyway, not all what you see in Buffalo is necessarily what people might see on clips on videos, but like just the passionate fan base. It's almost like a college atmosphere from what most people describe it. But
that's exactly right. It was very good. I mean, you could feel. I mean, my jersey was moving from the crowd inside the stadium. The repercussions of that, and I haven't been able to get to the Kansas City Stadium yet, and I've heard that's a phenomenal place to visit as well. But right now Buffalo Stadium is one of my best.
Yeah, I think Kansas City, I'm with you. It'd probably be at the top of the bucket list on like Lambeau and Arrowhead, I think. Those are really the only two like aged iconic stadiums. Like you look at baseball, there's tons of these old historic, but in NFL, it's a little different because you get them rebuilt so often. And then I guess maybe Seattle. Have you ever had a chance to go to Seattle?
No. So I have went to Green Bay, and you're right. That's a historic atmosphere, right? So I was really looking forward to that stadium. I think that was 2017. We went up there and we played them, and it was actually one of the hottest days that they played a game there. So it was very different than what I expected because, you think of Lambeau, you think of the cold weather and the snow and that kind of thing. So, but it was still a great experience. A lot of history there at that stadium.
So speaking of Green Bay, you've been to every game this year. So you were at the game against Green Bay this year where apparently no team wanted to win that game. How frustrating or emotionally draining was that game where we had like a combined like 106 missed field goals in the final like 15 minutes?
Right. That's one I wish we had back. Right. There's 3 games this year I was able to go to, and the Chicago, the Jets, and Green Bay. Those 3 games right there, we should have won them based on everything that happened. And, we wouldn't have been in the situation that we were in at the Kansas City game. We would already clinched that division by that point. But But it is what it is. It's the NFL, and as we all know, watching the games, it's very unpredictable. You can think what's going to happen, but you just never know.
All right, so let me go back to the get up here. So when you go through the process of getting ready for the games, do you wear the same thing every game, or do you mix it up, or do you have like a superstition about anything? Like what makes you put on what you put on as far as jerseys or anything like that?
So I try to match what the team wears. They release what they're going to be wearing, whether it's black on black, or black on white, or orange on white, or whatever it may be. So I try to match that. I have enough jerseys to do that. Now they just got new jerseys this year, so I have actually only 4. Where with the older jerseys, I had like 25 different jerseys, sure. So it was kind of nice to pick different numbers and that. And I'm not to that status yet. It'll give me a couple more years, and I'll have all my numbers. But I like Hubbard. I like Hubbard. Actually, you can see right behind me here. I got a Hubbard signed jersey. He's one of, and I like him because he's a local guy. If you follow Hubbard or know about Hubbard, basically he went to high school here. He graduated, went and played Ohio State, and and how often do you get to stay in your state and come back and play for the NFL team that you were raised on? Right. So I like the story. I like how he's playing. His progression's very well. So I wear a 94 a lot. I have a Boyd jersey that I wear as well. Superstition wise, the only thing, and it was covered in the article that was just released, was if you look at my nose area right above my mouth, I always do 7 dots and 3 rows to represent 7 points for touchdowns and 3 points for the field goal. So that's the only thing that's consistently done from a superstition standpoint.
Okay, so I know you mentioned the jersey change. That was one of the things I was going to ask you. Outside from the fact that you have to rebuild your collection now because you got to stay current, how do you feel about the new iteration of the jerseys this year? Do you like them better than the ones we had previously? What are your thoughts?
I like them. I think they're clean. They're a nice presentation. I absolutely love the Paul Brown and the collar. I think that's a good representation and respect for who Paul Brown was and what he brought to the football and to the Cincinnati Bengals. So I do like the jerseys. I was very happy with them when they came out.
I'm still waiting to see them just deck out the all Stormtrooper ones one time with the white helmets. Are you a fan of that at all? I just want to see it one time, just see how it goes.
Yeah, I do. I am interested in the alternate helmet aspect of it. I think we're going to be able to do that next year, from what I understand. I'm not sure what they're going to go with, but I'm an older guy. I'm old school. I kind of like the old throwback all orange with the Bengals on the side too. Yep. So maybe we can get that in there as well. But yeah, I like the all white and black. I'm open for anything. I think as we know, the Bengals, a lot of people like them and became a fan of the team because of the uniforms back in the day and the stripes on the helmets. You can go back and look at all the history of it. So as long as they keep that stripe perspective of it, I think we'll be fine.
Now, I became a fan as a kid when I saw Ickey Woods wearing that wild striped helmet doing the Ickey Shuffle in the late 80s. And he's actually a friend of our football group. He's in our Facebook group, Football's Life. But Ickey was the guy that kind of got me turned on to the Bengals. And then just from there, Boomer and all that stuff. So over the history, do you have like your Mount Rushmore Bengals players, or even just one or two that you lean on more than anything that are your guys?
So, I'm actually looking at my room right here, and it's I got a lot of history in here, and but if I had to pick some of my top players is Anthony Munoz, of course.
Oh yeah.
Ken Riley, Parrish, Anderson, Dillon. I mean, there's so many of them. It's hard to just narrow it down to one, but the old time, the players, them are the ones that are special. They help build this team, build the legacy, and I think we're starting to see now with Burrow, Mixon, TB, Higgins, Boyd. That's going to be that next group of people that get remembered.
So that kind of takes me to the last couple of questions I really had for you is just fill in the blank. So put you on the spot right away. The Bengals will blank this year.
I think we're going to go to the Super Bowl.
I have some buddies of mine, and they're like, usually we have 3 of us do the show. They'd be giving me a hard time if I didn't admit this to you. that we do NFL picks every single week against the spread. We're actually got our blue check mark on Pick Watch now, everybody. But anyway, I have a history of not picking the Bengals to cover the spread ever because I don't want to root for it. I just take them out of it. And you know what? It's actually hurt me on record wise, but I feel like I have some little small thing to do with the Bengals. But anyway, everybody said that because of my superstitions, it's probably going to be a magical 49ers Bengals Super Bowl. And I'll take that because I think we can beat the 49ers again. But either way, we'll see how that goes. That's third time's a charm is how I look at it. But all right, the Bengals will blank in the next 5 years.
Win multiple Super Bowls.
There you go. So we got the young core, baby. It's all there. And is Ja'Marr Chase the best wide receiver since Randy Moss, as long as at least for rookie season?
Yeah, I think this core group. We all saw how Burrow stated that he knew that there was something special about this team, and the team was going to do some good things. And I totally agree with that. At the beginning of the year, I felt something different, something I haven't felt in quite a few years. I didn't think it would happen this quick. I think we're ahead of the game. I think people were thinking that, we still had another year or two to build and get to where we are now. But with Joey and his swag and his demeanor and work ethic, he's been able to push and help this team get to where we are. And I'm very excited about this core group and Chase and that combination. And I think we got a lot of good wins in our future.
Man, I am too, but I don't know about you, but I'm so gun shy. It's hard to be optimistic being a Bengals fan as long as I remember David Klingler, I remember Achilles Smith, and Joe Burrow is not that guy. And I like that he's got a chip on his shoulder. And I like the fact that he can just say, you know what, sometimes I just throw it down there because I know Jamar's down there and good things usually happen. So you get a little bit of offensive line help around there and just shore up the defense, man. They might just win multiple Super Bowls here over the next decade. I'm hoping anyway.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do believe, like you said, being a Bengal fan, we've had many, many years of being optimistic and then having our hearts broken, and especially if you lived through the 90s, and made it through that decade, that was a terrible time for Bengal fans. But true fans like us, we stick with them, win or lose. And I think we're going to get rewarded now.
So I haven't been to a game at Paul Brown Stadium since 2001 because I had moved for a while and I wasn't as close. So if you had to tell me anything different about the stadium, is it better if they done any upgrades? Or, what's the vibe like when you go into Paul Brown now, especially this year?
So for me, walking into Paul Brown Stadium, or any stadium really for that matter, I get that excitement. It's like the first time. This year, a lot of people have different opinions about Mike Brown in the Bengals office, but I just got to give a big shout out for Elizabeth Blackburn and what she has done for Who Dey Nation, the fan base, the team itself. She has put such a vibe in this community to the fans. It's unbelievable what she's done. And at Paul Brown Stadium, they got the ruler of the jungle now. I don't know if you're familiar with that. But that whole perspective and what they're trying to do there, it's definitely changed the vibe. And you can see the younger generation helping the Who Dey Nation and the fans be more enthusiastic about the team.
Man, that's good stuff. All right, and wrapping up and closing here. So I know you're big time on the tailgate scene, and also know you use the platform that you've created now to try to do some good out there for the local communities. So tell us a little bit about, I know it was in the article in USA Today, but tell everybody a little bit about the charities and what all Tony the Tiger gets involved with.
So Tony the Tiger is just a small part of this campaign that we do with charity. If you are a Bengal fan, you know about Bengal Jim. He was actually the Bengals fan of the year this year, but he hosts a tailgate called Bengal Jim and Friends and Before the Roar. And there's several people that help put this on. And we have an opportunity to use that platform, me being able to use Tony the Tiger and divert some of that enthusiasm that we have to tailgate into doing charity work. So this year, as of last week, we've donated over $43,000 just from the fans of Who Dey Nation and from us helping with the tailgate. to multiple local community organized charities and that kind of thing. Anthony Munoz Foundation, Ken Anderson Alliance, just to name a few. But it's been tremendous. It's one things I love outside of football is being able to give back and having the opportunity to put my two passions together with football and charity. You couldn't ask for a better atmosphere for me to be able to do that.
Nah, that is awesome stuff, man. And that's the thing. It's not just about being a fan and showing up and cheering, but like when you're interconnected with the community like that and you're able to establish even more of a difference, that is awesome. So shout out to you for, taking the willingness to go get involved in that stuff, and awesome to see the progress that is taking place there. But man, I know you've been making the rounds and we've got the article in USA Today about you. We're going to see you on Fox NFL Sunday. But the fact that you took just a few minutes out of your day on a little bit of a snowstorm and to join us over here at We Don't Know Sports, man, we greatly appreciate it. You got a prediction on who the Bengals might be matched up with in the playoffs? Have you looked at it and seen what you think might happen?
Well, like we talked earlier, it's the NFL. You really don't know until after next week. But I think it's kind of going to be the Colts maybe for our first game. I don't know. It just depends. If we make it past the first round, I think we're going to end up playing the Titans. It's kind of my prediction. So we'll see what happens. But this Sunday at the City Up North, I'll be there rooting on my team, even though most of the starters won't be starting. But again, I want to be there to support them. And it'll be a preseason game environment probably, but it'll still be there. It'll be fun, and we'll hopefully get a win out of it.
Hey, if it means we can get some guys maybe some game reps that wouldn't normally get them, that's only a good thing, because it doesn't mean much to us, and it doesn't seem like Cleveland's going to be playing many of their people either. So we'll see how it goes. But, man, brother, you be safe. Enjoy the game this weekend. And thanks again for joining us. Tony the Tiger, everybody. Thanks again for coming, brother.
I appreciate you guys. Uday.
Uday.